protect, and serve.
Hello again, Detective. Was there anything else?
Your residents are robots.
Not robots, Detective. Well, not exactly, anyway. I believe the term they use is robo-brain. Back before the war, the residents decided the best way to wait it out was to put their brains inside robotic chassis. Was there anything else?
I'm not sure where I should start.
I suppose you should try to figure out how he died, and then who had the means and motive to kill him. Once you have enough evidence, then I suppose you'll need to confront the killer. Was there anything else?
Tell me about the victim.
Mr. Ezra Parker was the primary owner and financier for the hotel. He had vast experience managing venture projects around the world. It was his idea to have our premier clients become investors in the vault section of the hotel. He worked with Vault Tech to have this built to their every specification. Was there anything else?
Never mind.
I'll be here should you need me.
Looks like the brain enclosure was smashed.
You picked
Is
me up
this
in Vault
blood?
114. Really over 100 of these things?
There we go. A baseball bat? Huh. What's this doing here?
Hello again, Detective. Was there anything else?
I found the murder weapon.
Oh no. That's the bat from Mr. McKinney's movie. You don't think he could be involved, do you? I can't imagine him ever doing such a thing. Was there anything else?
Never mind.
I'll be here should you need me.
I saw the way he looked at you. You gonna tell me that's nothing?
It wasn't like that. We were friends. He helped me out of a tight spot or two is all.
I couldn't stand by like some pasty-faced Percy while he put the moves on my best girl.
But now the law is on our tail. What are we going to do?
Come away with me. Let's leave this dark hole of a city behind. We can be in Buenos Aires by tomorrow.
Oh, I want to believe you, I do, but never let us go.
Then we'll make our stand here. I've got a gun for each of us.
No, 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 no. The line is, then we'll make our stand here. Two lovers together with a bullet for each of them.
Oh, God. Why can't I ever get that line? Forget it. I can't do this right now.
Ugh, fine. I'm going to the beach.
Hello, Detective. How can I help? Did you have questions about the case?
Do you have any thoughts about the murder?
It's obviously Santiago. He keeps going back to look at the crime scene.
I found your baseball bat at the crime scene. Care to explain how it got there?
Someone is clearly trying to frame me for the murder. It's probably Santiago. You saw him skulking around the crime scene.
What were you and Gilda talking about when I walked in?
Oh, we were just rehearsing a scene. Nothing to worry about.
Never mind.
Okay. Just let me know how I can help.
Hey, you trying to get us in trouble? These days count on violence to solve their problems. You only have to look around to see where that got us.
at the arts. Does that cruel muse call you to her entrapping bosom?
Art is life. Without it, we are no different than animals.
Perhaps, if all we are is a sentience floating in a suit of flesh, or metal, I suppose, then art is the only true communion with the world. Come with me. Tell me, what does this piece say to you?
It looks kind of like a face. That spot is the eye, the red blotch is its hair, and it's sticking its tongue out.
Indeed. This was the last piece I did in a series of portraits of Gilda. Number 1378. Her emotional landscape is superimposed on the portrait. The reality of the subject is distorted as the ego attempts to project itself. This way. Tell me, what does this one say to you?
It's the war! Bombs from every direction. No up or down. The world turned on its head.
Oh, what a very literal interpretation. I asked what it communicated, not what the shapes on the canvas were. You must have said. And what about this one? And please be honest, for art without honesty is just politics.
This is bullshit. You're talking out your ass and wasting my time.
I can see this discourse is wasted on you. Truth be told, this is my best-selling piece. I did this series under a pseudonym, of course. This series has made more money than any of my serious works. And I take the whole thing as a lark. What does that tell you about the value of art to the common man? Hello, detective. Here to broaden your mind through artistic inspiration?
Did you have any thoughts about Inferno?
The person you should be looking at is Juliana Riggs. That Philistine would not know art from her own excrement. She and Ezra had a rather dramatic fight recently. You could hear her banshee screeches all the way across the hotel.
What were Juliana and Ezra arguing about?
I don't know. I was painting at the time and I was trying to block it out. Though I bet Gilda probably heard them. Maybe you should check with her.
I think you should explain why you keep returning to the crime scene.
It's for inspiration, detective. The others do not like to think about it, but even we shall die someday. Like Prometheus' torch, it kindles within me the fire to create as much art as I can with the time that I have.
It sounds like you've done a lot of paintings of Gilda. Why her?
Our Gilda is a very singular creature, detective. Do you not see the joie de vivre within her? I have never met another who clings to life so tenaciously, who lives so in the moment. I must admit I was quite smitten with her for a time.
You're still in love with Gilda, aren't you?
So what if I am? What business is it of yours? She deserves someone who truly understands her ephemeral beauty, not a brute actor.
Maybe later.
Good. I hope my paintings are able to open your mind to new possibilities.
anyone actually felt like they were at the beach in here? Yeah, me neither.
Well now, if it isn't the brave detective, I haven't seen someone with a body like that in far, far too long.
Ah, you're not so bad yourself.
You should have seen me before all this. Red hair that was the envy of every girl and legs for days, darling. I'm sure you'd rather hear some of my stories from the silver screen rather than talk about that nasty murder business.
I must say, you're quite the actress.
What can I say? It just comes naturally. Surely you must be here for my salacious stories of the silver screen.
Have you ever done radio? Your voice is quite enchanting.
Well, darling, play your cards right, and maybe I'll whisper some sweet nothings in your ear. Care to hear some of my stories, detective?
I must say, I've known flesh and blood girls who aren't half the woman you are.
Keep it up, Tiger, and we'll find out if you can handle how much woman I am. Care to hear some of my stories, detective?
Why don't we grab a bottle of wine and go watch the sunset?
Sounds good, detective. That was great, detective, but we probably shouldn't make a habit of this. Catch you later, Tiger. Hey there, Tiger. Here for more stories about my acting career, or something else?
Can you answer some questions?
Sure, darling. What did you need?
Apparently, Juliana had a big argument with Ezra a few days before he died. Did you happen to overhear any of the conversation?
Oh, yes. I haven't seen a woman go off like that since Teresa Dubois fired her costume designer. But to get back to your question, it was fever pitch, detective. She had apparently gone to the overseer's office to check on the state of things and found it in horrible disrepair. But, and this is where it gets interesting, it sounded like she found something that really set her off. Couldn't hear what, though. Did you need something else?
I found Keith's baseball bat at the scene of the murder. Any thoughts on how it got there?
I don't know, detective. I can't really imagine Keith killing Ezra. Did you need something else?
I've gotten the impression you've had an affair with Santiago.
Look, I love Keith, I do. But sometimes he just can't give me the attention I need. A girl gets lonely, detective. It only lasted a few dozen years. The man's a bit much, even for me. Did you need something else?
What were you and Keith talking about when I came in?
Oh, that? We were rehearsing. Gotta stay sharp before going to rebuild Hollywood. But Keith always gets flustered when he's upset. Did you need something else?
Did you have any thoughts about the murder?
Well, it is a bit strange how obsessed Santiago has been with the murder. I mean, he's always been a bit obsessive, though. He did a whole series of paintings of me, hundreds. Said I was his muse. It was flattering for a while, but the man is a bit much, even for me. Did you need something else?
Maybe later.
I'll be around, languishing from your inattention.
protect, and serve.
Hello, Mr. Whiskers. Who's a pretty kitty?
Juliana, Mr. Whiskers died last month. This is Scruffy. Remember?
Oh, of course. Silly me.
Just let me have a look at the neural interface matrix, and I'm sure I can clear that.
No, it's not that. I've just caught another cold. Probably something that got in when they sent Pearl out.
My God, not this again. Last month you were convinced you had the measles.
You're not a doctor. What would you even know about it? Besides, I think it may be malaria.
First of all, I am a doctor.
Yes, but not a real doctor. Robotics isn't an actual medical degree.
Secondly, I've told you time and again, you can't get sick inside the suit. It's not physically possible.
I know when I'm getting sick, Bert. Now why don't you just wander off and play in your lab? Mr. Scruffy and I are going to rewrite the will, so he will get everything when I die, because horrible Bert
They're
didn't
gonna
believe
have
me.
to flip
Oh,
that
God,
monster.
Juliana.
Fun
Whatever.
there.
I'm going to the lab. Did you need something?
I heard that Juliana and Ezra had an argument a few days before he was found dead. Tell me about that.
Well, I was in my lab at the time, so I didn't hear it. But Juliana has always been rather critical of Mr. Parker. I think she found something in the overseer's office. I wasn't listening when she told me about it. I kind of had my head in my research. I don't know, really. I try to let her handle all the money stuff. Oh, was there something else, Detective?
Did you have any thoughts about the murder?
Oh, well, that's not really my field of expertise, but I'm sure there are probably some clues at the crime scene. Oh, was there something else, Detective?
Tell me about yourself.
Oh, well, I'm a scientist. You've probably met my wife, Juliana, already. Not sure what else to say, really. Oh, was there something else, Detective?
Tell me about your research.
Well, I was one of the leads on the team that created the first robo-brains, the precursors to our model. Most people don't find it all that interesting, and I'd rather not bore you. Oh, was there something else, Detective?
I'd like to hear more about your research.
Oh, wonderful. No one else here really wants to talk about it. Functionally, this model is more or less the same as the previous versions I worked on, but without the neural inhibitor and the reconditioning. The voice modulator seems to have some minor issues interfacing with the neural matrix, which can add some moodiness. But that's easily solved with regular tune-ups. Oh, was there something else, Detective?
I'd like to hear more about your research.
I'm afraid that's really all I should say about it. I mean, it is still classified, but I wanted to help with the investigation. Oh, was there something else, Detective?
RoboBrains have a voice modulator? Tell me about that.
That's what allows us to recreate our original voices. They can mimic any normal human voice, actually. I've speculated for some time that the issues we had with our recruited subjects is due to the brain attempting to preserve a sense of self. Maintaining our original voices helps reinforce the neural network, sort of like playing music for an Alzheimer patient. Oh, was there something else, Detective?
Maybe later.
Very well. I'll just get back to my work then.
Hello, Detective. Did you have a question about the heinous murder?
I heard you had a big fight with Ezra a few days ago. Care to explain?
Oh, well, it wasn't that big a deal, really. He wanted more money to pay for repairs on the hotel. I wasn't feeling well that day and lashed out a bit at the poor man. I really should have listened to him more.
What's with all the junk in here?
These are our things. We're just waiting till the war blows over so we can bring them back to the mansion.
Did you have any thoughts about the murder?
If you ask me, it's one of those actors. Or that horrible painter. Their type is always the cause of violence.
Tell me about yourself.
I'm Juliana Riggs, heiress to the Riggs fortune and wife of Bert Riggs. I'm not sure what else you expected, Detective.
Maybe later.
Good luck catching the murderer, Detective.
Protect and serve.
Progress on construction of the second wing of the vault is completely stalled. Once the premier area of the vault had been completed, funding seems to have been cut off. My supervisors have informed me that they haven't received payment from Mr. Parker, and Vault-Tec won't pay out of pocket to continue construction. I've repeatedly approached Ezra about the finances, but he keeps telling me that Mrs. Riggs hasn't transferred the funds. However, when I asked her, Juliana said that she had just given Ezra extra for the gold paint in the rooms. I've hired an investigator to look for signs of embezzlement in a few weeks.
Sounds like Ezra was embezzling from his investors. There's evidence Ezra was embezzling from his investors.
Oh, well, I really don't believe that. Mr. Parker wouldn't do such a thing, I'm sure.
I think you're the real murderer.
That's just silly, Detective. Why would I want to kill Mr. Parker?
Ezra was embezzling your money. That's why you killed him and framed Keith.
You were so close, Detective.
It's a shame. I thought I could keep the ruse going a little longer. Oh, well, had to end eventually, I suppose. This doesn't have to end in more violence, Detective. Just walk away. I'll leave, and you can tell them I escaped.
Ezra? You're alive.
Well, congratulations on catching up, Detective. Yes, I've been masquerading as Juliana for some time now.
What's it going to be, Detective? Join me in getting rich? Or die defending some outdated ideals?
Why did you kill Juliana?
I hadn't planned on it, but Juliana figured out what I was doing and had to be dealt with swiftly. I thought I could get a bit more money out of this place before making my escape.
Well, how is this going to go down?
Not a chance. Your murder spree stops here.
Then let us end this.
I think we...
Hey.
I'm listening. You got time to talk now?
What's wrong?
Wrong? Oh no, nothing's wrong. We've just been traveling for a while now, and I figured, especially after all that stuff with Dima, that you deserve to know more about me. So, there anything you want to know?
What do you remember about the Institute?
It's all pretty hazy from back then, but now and then I get glimpses. Life inside the Institute, they keep you isolated. A single test chamber was my whole world for years, and someone was always watching. Then one day you wake up on the other side, and that's it. They've cut you loose. Welcome to the brave new world, with such people in it.
So, who are you, Nick?
That's a question I've been trying to figure out myself for a long damn time. I know I'm a synth, authentic Institute handiwork, but I'm still mechanical, not bioengineered like the fancy synths giving everyone the willies these days. I get tune-ups now instead of checkups. You remember when Dima was talking about the Institute's personality experiments? My memories, my personality. They're all lifted from some cop who volunteered for an experiment back before the war. They scanned his brain and copied it onto the hardware that runs between my ears. Don't know why they chose to make a robot based on some pre-war cop instead of a math genius or a bioengineer. Hey, maybe that's why the Institute tossed me in the garbage instead of turning me into one of their people snatchers.
Wait, what? You're a robot? What else have you been keeping from me?
Ha! Well, I'm not sure if anyone told you, but there's been a war. Nothing big. I think we'll bounce back just fine.
That's terrible. They really just threw you away?
Sure did. It was quite the rude awakening. I remember waking up one day in a garbage heap, a body in tatters and a head full of memories belonging to a man who'd been dead for 200 years. Suffice to say, it was a confusing couple of weeks. Folks didn't really know much about synths back then, so when I finally ran into people, they mostly treated me with caution rather than hostility. But the kids, they weren't afraid. I think his name was Jim. The first person to actually speak to me after I got the boot from the Institute. My first human contact in this world. Grilled me for an hour. Once they'd seen I wasn't going to hurt anyone, the other folks in the neighborhood came out to ogle the mechanical man. It eventually turned into a pretty swell soiree. The local mechanic even gave me a one. Those people, they treated me like a human being. It's a surprisingly rare trait out here sometimes. Part of the reason I've stuck around this long.
I do what's needed.
Well, you certainly seem to judge doing good pretty high on your list of necessities. Well, I expect you're about as bored as can be listening to me rattle my skeletons. We should probably head out. Hey, toss anything you can't haul my way.
Protect and serve.
I found the killer. It was Ezra. He killed Juliana and took her place to hide his tracks.
My word! I never thought Mr. Parker was capable of something like this. What happened when you confronted him?
He attacked me. But it's over now. Your residents are safe.
Here you are, Detective. Payment for your services and a bonus for uncovering such a heinous plot. I don't think we could have done it without you. Good day to you.
Guns, ammo, and souvenirs. Come on in stock. Don't let the island catch you off guard. Buy my guns. Fresh shipment. All your medical and food needs. You ain't on. You ain't long for this one.
sound pleased. Say we get out of here.
you can't.
Bothering anybody now? find something in here, because that may take a while. That's one way to get the coolant pumping.
Yes.
Watching a conductor.
Well, that settles it. I am 100% screwed. Damn this fog. You'd think a lighthouse would be easy to find, but not this. Never seen fog like it. Can't believe I let myself get talked into this. How do I know that woman wasn't crazy? I'm starting to think her whole story was some fantasy she cooked up to get attention. Taking out one trapper to avenge her husband's death. Sounded easy enough. Now I wish I'd stayed far away from this godforsaken island. Shit, something's coming!
Unlock that terminal?
Count on it. Did a decent job locking this down, but I'm just open for business.
you ain't armed. You ain't long for this world. Buy my guns then. Protect your loved ones with my fine hands. Guns, ammo, and souvenirs. And all that stuff. Guns, ammo, and souvenirs. Protect your loved ones with my fine hands.
Mainlanders don't last
Knocking
long
back.
on the island.
Wait, child.
Old Longfellow goes peaceful.
You take your time killing that trapper. Make it hurt. The way I've been hurting since I lost my temper.
That trapper who killed your husband is dead.
And it's done. It's finally done. All those lives that were lost, all those debts finally repaid. And it was no son or daughter of Far Harbor who stood up to the island and avenged the Dalton bloodline. It was you, an outsider, a mainlander. The final chapter's been written. The story has come to an end. This is a day I never thought I'd live to see. Thank you.
I found a holotape from the last guy you sent to the lighthouse. He thought your whole story was a lie.
A lie? No. It was true. Or at least there was truth in it. Was there a little harmless exaggeration as well? Perhaps. But some things are more important than truth. Look at you, for instance. You've seen the island's dangers and survived. You've learned something valuable. What's more, the island learned something too. It knows you're not some greenbacked mainlander who can't tell up from down in the fog. The island will respect you now. And that's more than I can say for most who step off the boat.
I'm less interested in your family revenge story than I am.
I see. Well, you're a stranger to our island. Can't expect you to really understand what's important here. Now, every good story's gotta have a happy ending, right? The hero finds the treasure, saves the sweetheart, and rides off into the sunset. Well, I'm a little old to leap up on a horse. But I have got something close to a treasure. This is an heirloom that's been in my family for at least a generation or two. There's no Daltons left to inherit the thing, so it might as well pass on to you. The island knows this weapon. Oh, yes. You carry this, and it'll take you seriously. And that's it. That's the end. I can sleep easy now, knowing there won't be any unfinished business when they put me in the ground. Off you go now. My story's over, but yours... I think yours is only just getting interesting.
What model power armor's that? Nice.
Curious specimen. Despite our friendly town doing its best to chase you out, you keep helping us ingrates all the same. I got to ask, why do you keep at it?
They're good people in some dire straits. Figured you could use a hand.
Huh? You running for office? Well, if that's the truth, we don't deserve it. Most folk here are set in their ways, yes? It makes no difference how hard you try to get in good. Heck, it took my family 3 generations before the Daltons would sell us a heel of bread. But there's a way. A downright insane way, mind you. You can turn even the most stubborn fool around.
Why are some harbormen so hostile to outsiders?
Most of the folk on this rock believe they've been given a God-given right to walk here. The way I figure it, if you got the moxie to survive, you earned your place.
Oh, here you left.
In olden times, leaders were chosen by something called the Captain's Dance. Legends say the toughest, meanest, and outright craziest hopers would chum the waters and lure out the worst the island could throw. Once the would-be captain killed the Mirelurk Queen, or Fog Crawler, or what have you, they'd invite the whole island to feast off the bounty. You do this, well, you won't be made captain, but you'll earn respect. Everyone's respect.
So, if we throw this dance, it'll really change their minds.
The dance hasn't been done in living memory. Some people think the tradition is dead, but its history is so deep in this island. You do it, and it'll turn heads for certain.
I'm ready to become a legend.
You what? You crack me up. There's an old Mirelurk feasting grounds by Emmett's Causeway, a treacherous stretch along the coast. Go there and throw any kind of meat you got into the water. All that blood and viscera will be sure to attract attention. And then wait. I'll make sure there's a witness or two. Prove to the rest of these clods you belong.
Alan's right. The children of Adam are trying to kill us.
Don't let the island catch you off guard.
That's a firepower there.
The detective's life isn't... An easy one, but it rarely lacks for excitement. Try not to sever anything. You might miss.
Guns, and more guns.
that? Doc asked me to witness, so I'm witnessing.
knuckleheads don't trust you now. Well, fuck them, right? I expect folk will be more talkative now. Might even have some more work for you. Maybe hit up Mitch at the last plane.
Seriously. Thanks, Teddy.
You are the most peculiar main person I've ever had the occasion to meet. Take this. And, if you're inclined, socialize. It's your party after all. Everyone, times are hard. But this here feast is proof that we can turn things around. Now I know mainlanders have been responsible for all manner of harm. But this one is special. This one did the captain's dance.
It's true. I saw it.
So in my book, she's not a mainlander anymore. She's one of us.
Mainlander.
Here's to you. Captain's dance. Wow.
I saw the
Hey,
whole
Doc.
thing.
Dark days.
Queen.
Lost another patient. Andre. It never gets easy. Please tell me you're feeling well at least.
I don't need anything.
Lucky you.
Kind of a deal. Wow.
Everyone, make way.
Did you really kill the queen? The mariner said you did.
I fear we had you all wrong.
Well, Captain Avery didn't.
Right. Holier than thou Avery got the right of it. And thanks for reminding me. Here's a round on the house.
What's your beef with Avery?
Avery was born on the island, but she left for a good long spell. Didn't come back until, well, 10, 11 years ago. And since then, she's been trying to make us adopt all sorts of mainland nonsense. I ain't arguing she doesn't do good, or her heart being in the right place, but why change what ain't broke?
That's awfully friendly of you.
We have mainlanders coming in and out all the time. Worst of the lot are thieves or murderers. And the others we find floating face down in the harbor. But not you.
Mitch, I mean, since you did the captain's dance, maybe your uncle?
That's my own family business.
Ma'am, Mitch is too damn proud. But we're worried about Uncle Ken.
What's wrong with his uncle?
Uncle Ken's the last one still living on the island. The last holdout.
Crazier than a bag full of starved mole rats, he is.
Mitch sent him some of the fog condensers? So he might still be alive. He's safe from the fog.
But the campground's got to be swarming with God knows what. Listen, it shames me to ask it. Oh, but he is my kin. Could you check up on him? And find some way to drag his hide back here. I'll pay, of course.
What if he won't come back?
Well, then at least check up on him, right? I'll pay the same regardless.
I'll look for your uncle.
His homestead's the old visitor center, inland. Look out, he loves his traps. life's too bloody short to be sober. You look like you need an ice cold vin.
Hard times.
Ma'am, I have to talk to you. I got 14 and a half caps. I want to hire you.
I'll bite. What's the job?
Harbormen don't belong on this dock. If we keep clinging here, we'll bleed out and die. To get better, to grow stronger, we need land. Echo Lake Lumber Mill has power lines that connect to the old wind farm. If you clear the land, Harbormen can wire up the condensers. Make it safe from the fog.
How do you know all this?
My father was a mechanic. A good one. Before the fog took him.
You know, you're quite a remarkable girl.
If you say so. I just don't want this pier to kill what's left of my kin. I know the money's a joke. If my friends can resettle, I'm sure they'd do anything for you. And owe you big. Please, help.
Don't be chewing on us. See what I can do. Not that it's an option.
I've been casing those ghouls for weeks, waiting for an opening. Then you dive in and choppy chop, bang bang, and the whole lot of them dead. You even know what you got right there? A premium set of Pellman's power tools.
What's the big deal about these tools?
Pellman's pumps out more foot-pounds of torque than a Deathclaw on Psycho. And before Paulie ran off, he kept those tools shiny. Nothing like them on this island. Period.
With the shape of the world right now, tools like this are useful.
Exactly. You got it. Wait. Oh, Mariner sent you, didn't she? Goddamn Mitch and his big mouth. No matter what she's offering, it's nothing. Serious builders would give an arm for them tools. I'll pay you 2,000 caps right here, right now. Deal?
Why do you need the tools so much?
I got my own special projects. For the caps I'm paying, that's all you need to know.
I'll pass on the offer.
I ain't hanging around forever. Walk away from this, and you'll regret it.
Wouldn't want it going to waste now, would we?
tannery? You find my tools yet? Here are your tools. A fair bit of luck running into you. Here's your reward. Well earned. And now to work on the hull. Manner of good I can do with those tools.
Guns, ammo, and souvenirs. Get them while they're in stock. Food, stim packs, fully stocked.
I'll be damned if I give up on taking back my land.
Protect your loved ones with my fine hand. Bait shop's got everything you need.
All manner of good I can do with those tools. What's up?
There's something you need? If I got it.
You ain't armed. You ain't long for this world. Buy my guns in front, dock and back. Bait shop. If it ain't one of my favorite customers. What can I do you for?
I'll take a look.
Make it fast.